we saw almost a 3x jump in sales and increase in distribution, reaching out to more channel partners. So it took us a long time to convince him, get him on board. He's very choosy with what he does. And why should it be all blacks and whites? Why can't it be yellows and greens and pinks? Typically, what happens I've seen is that you start with a vision, reality hits you, and in the name of nimble, you continuously chip away your vision.
Recently, we spoke with a founder who in 2017 created a tech audio brand so good looking that you could literally wear it like a fashion accessory on the runway. We spoke to New Republic's founder, Ujjwal Sarin, whose vision was to change the drab, black and white, and gray world of audio electronics, such as wireless earbuds, speakers, smartwatches, and charging solutions, into something trendy, pop, wearable, and colorful while maintaining its quality. In this interview, Sarin talks to us about how he found a place amongst the behemoths of the electronics industry. He also tells us about his recent promotional collaboration with Farhan Akhtar and Shibani Dandekar. More importantly, he tells us some of the leadership lessons he has picked up while raising this company from ground up. To begin with, I have to ask you, why didn't it happen sooner? I mean, brand like yours, it's been taken some time for you to get into a brand collaboration like this.
Yeah, it has taken some time. We were waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the right fitment. New Republic stands for disruption. We want to be flag bearers of innovation in the category. We want to do stuff which has not been done. We don't want to be, just another player trying to ape the well entrenched, brands in the category. We want to do something new, and Farhan, exactly stood for that. So it took us a long time to convince him, get him on board. He's very choosy with what he does, and yeah. But I think even though it was slightly delayed, but well begun is half done.
So were you very clear that you want him on board, or did you have any other prospective, uh, collaborators?
Well, I would say that uh, obviously this entire journey of finding a ambassador who truly represents your brand and the brand's values is a very iterative and a long process. Uh, One typically goes through a long list of people or brands, who themselves are ambassadors, who themselves are available in the category. It was not that I started off by, I dreamt one day that it's going to be Farhan, but the moment I read that name, I said, if not him, then who? There was such a, in my mind, there was such a great, great collaboration. Uh, because what he brings on the table is exactly the values which we are championing, be it disruption, be it not fitting into a silo, not always doing something which is outside your own comfort zone. He stands for music, he stands, and Shivani herself brings so much of her character and values into the collaboration. So I think it was just that it was never planned, like if I would say very honestly, but it is the moment I saw their names, it was like, this is it. This should happen.
What are you planning with them on board now?
With them on board, first step is to basically establish in the mind of our customers that they represent us. It adds obviously a lot of credibility to the brand. It takes the brand stature to a different level, not only for the customers but also our channel partners, people who are working with us, our employees. I'll be able to I but this has a ripple effect in the entire brand, on the entire brand. From from uh, from the customer side, definitely there's a lot of trust which gets built up. From the channel partner side, there's a lot of trust which builds up. From an employee standpoint, we will be able to attract better talent, which will eventually grow the organization. So employer branding, customer branding, channel partner branding.
Okay. Um, okay. Which brings me to the next set of questions is about, there are so many well-established players in this segment.
Right.
And how have you managed to figure out Obviously, the whole fashionable wear is what you're kind of driving on. How have you figured out, which segment of listeners or probable customers are the right fit? How have you managed to really carve that little space in this? How did you figure that out?
Right. So, in any industry, whenever there's a new technology innovation which happens, the early movers and the brands which really establish the industry and build it, take it forward, are the ones who drive function as a core need, and establish that this function is needed by the customers who are coming in. So the early adopters, the majority which come in after that, all of them are fixated to the function, and function itself is the reason why the technology is purchased. But after a few years, and it's a natural cyclical thing. After a few years, when the technology is well entrenched, the question itself is not the function it provides. The question is, what does it make you feel? And you've seen this over and over again. You pick up any part of anything what you wear, anything what you do, any new technology which has come in. We've always seen that there have been players who have disrupted the overall industry. We're asking a very different question. The question is, how does it make me feel? Functions eventually become table stakes. Uh, the well-entrenched brands today have been championing only one cause, which is uh, make the technology available for all. So that can happen in two ways. One is you reduce the overall, the absolute price at which the customer acquires that technology, or you give more technology for less. So these are the two levers which one really uses for this. But we are championing a different cause altogether. For us, it is not about technology. We say for Gen Zs and beyond, this is table stakes. This technology is table stakes. They would not know what wired eventually even means. And
Right.
wireless is a part of our everyday lives now. So how
Right.
does it
Right.
make me feel when it is worn in your ear? And why should it be all blacks and whites? Why can't it be yellows and greens and pinks?
What you're saying, it has a point. You're trying to make electronics, or the audio electronics fashionable. But there's a price point to it as well, right? For you stand for products that feel aspirational, right? And it can be quite tricky to get the pricing right, especially for a company which is started in 2018. How did you manage to? Do you think what was the process of getting your pricing point?
Well, you are right. Pricing is absolutely critical. Uh, Typically what happens is that pricing is a function of what kind of how is the product built up, what material does it use, what problem does it solve. Now in our category, what has always been happening is that the price table typically in electronics is continuously pushed down. And what one for you know no brand can forego the basic functional aspect. If it's a earphone, it has to sound good, right? But what people forego is the form factor. Now we need to understand in our pricing environment is that how much delta is our customer willing to pay for that form factor if we accentuate the form factor. Why do we use cheap plastics? Why can it not be metal? Why does it have to why cannot it have sleek LED lights which makes the product stand out? Why can't the form factor be such that it is not only a functional product, but when it is kept on the table along with your keys, typically people do, they put their keys or their phone and they put the earbud on the table and it becomes a talking point. So I think that delta for me, and what I've seen is a it can go between 50% to 100%. People are willing to pay more if you show them that value and show them that it's like small toys for boys and girls, that way.
Okay. So, what's been, as far as the pricing front is concerned, what's been the biggest learning for you in these years?
My biggest learning has been that no one wins on price. It's a race to the bottom. It's the most unimaginative and way to attract the consumer market. What one needs to realize is that you need to sell a value. You need to sell who you are, and when you sell who you are, price becomes an offshoot of that.
Okay. Uh, as far as your product lineup is concerned, I've noticed that you've been gradual in your launches, right?
Mhm.
Do you think, in hindsight, you would have done this any differently, or are you fine that this is the way you went?
Yeah, I'm actually all of this is part of a well thought out plan.
Okay.
It has to have a gradual you know launch cycle. Rome wasn't built in a day. Launching 20 products in one day will may give you a lot of excitement, but it just doesn't, for the customers, it doesn't matter. It is better that you space out your launches and push your proposition for each of those products through.
Okay. Okay. What can we expect? What further launches can we expect?
So what we are doing is that our whole product roadmap and our product strategy is based on one single aspect, which is how does it make me feel.
Okay.
If every element of our product, every element of each product which we launch should have some baseline which accentuates this particular experience, the feeling of self-expression. So all our products, so now if you look, we'll be launching more earbuds, wireless earbuds, which will attract a different set of audience. We will give a very strong uh, proposition for all customers who are recruited by entry brands and who want to now upgrade to the next product. They want something more. So we will be the guys who will be ready for that, with the more. So you will see a lot of products on speakers, on earbuds, on smartwatches, on wristwatches, and charging solutions from us.
Okay. Are you going to price it differently, or is it going to be
We'll
for the
operate at all
masses? Or
possible price points, not typically entry level, but
okay.
upgrade price points.
Coming back to some of the things that I've read about what you've said in interviews. I think you said at the beginning of 2023 that there'll be more integration of AI with music and the whole electronic stack. It's already happening. What do you see for 2024? Where is AI going to lead us?
Well, I'm not really a authority on where would it go, but I am also seeing the same trends as you are, and I'm
Okay.
also tracking them. And I just feel it's such a amazing thought that today with the power of AI, you and I can create music without even knowing the technical aspects of how an instrument is played. And I think it is so empowering, and it will change the music landscape completely. However it get integrated in our products is something which I'm still thinking of. I don't have any specific pointers towards that, but overall, as a fan of the industry, and as a fan of music, I'm absolutely stoked of what how things are moving.
Okay. Um, uh, Coming to the product itself, what are the different ways in which New Republic relies on to to develop the product further, in the sense to improve the product aspects?
Well, product development cycle has two independent lines as far as we are concerned. The first part is trend spotting, understanding what customers would want, and trying to develop a product from a hardware perspective, which fits into that trend, or which can create a new trend. So that's the first thing which we do. So that is purely on a design perspective, and how the product will eventually look. And that's the most important thing for us. The second is how the product will sound and the functional benefits it would provide. We benchmark ourselves, and we would benchmark any proposition against what is happening in the market in terms of the features and the functionality. And then the third leg of this is the production, where we ensure that the production happens in an environment where we adhere to our quality standards and ensure that whatever we give out to the world is benchmarked against the best of what we can do.
Mhm. What is the sounding board for New Republic as far as your products are concerned? I mean, um, they could be, feedback in any form. Where do you rely your feedback system from?
Well, I think the best feedback I have got in my career, and continue to get, is for my products is through retailers.
Okay.
See, typically in an online environment, it's you and the customer. The customer
Yeah.
himself is or herself is not very well versed with the technology or the category. You know, you're not into a category. Like for example, today I'm into this particular category, but if it's, let's say, mobile phones, I may not be that well versed with that. So the customer may accept something which is 70 or 80% there, but a retailer gets almost 100 200 brands knocking their doors every month. So
Mm.
they are well versed with what's happening in the industry, and they are very, very sharp. So if you go through the retail and get your products accepted there, there is no reason why a customer will reject your product.
Okay. Interesting. Um, how are you doing as far as capital is concerned? Are you comfortable there?
Yeah, we are very comfortably placed, and I don't see that to be a challenge at all for us to achieve our objectives.
Okay, okay. Ujjwal, I think you've really worked your way up and really, understood the sector quite a bit. You've worked, at various levels in this whole segment, the electronics, the audio, and, the telecom segment. When you look back at this journey, what are the major lessons that you've learned, from the ups and the downs, that you would probably, give out to other founders or other people who really want to get onto the startup journey?
There are so many of them. I couldn't pinpoint it, but now that you've
Right.
asked me this question, I would say resilience is something which you never give up. Just don't give up. That's the first thing I would say, and it's not specific to this industry generally, but overall, never give up on your vision. Your vision should be, for any founder, the vision should be very clear. If it is not clear, then you better give up and do something else. The vision has to be extremely clear, extremely, and typically what happens I've seen is that you start with a vision,
Mhm.
and then reality hits you, and in the name of being nimble, you continuously chip away your vision. So you continuously chip away from the core vision, and eventually you end up hitting products or making an organization which has no resemblance to what you first dreamt of. And that's where passion takes a hit,
Mhm.
because the passion or the dream continues to ask you that question, that this is not what I want you to build, but this is eventually built.
Mhm.
And that dissonance will eventually perhaps may cause stress in what you do.
Mhm.
So I'm just saying, I would just say that be true to what you want to achieve, and define it very clearly. Just go for
Okay.
it and don't stop.
When you say define it very clearly, how do you write it down somewhere, or
Yeah.
how do you define it? How have you defined it?
Define is when I would say that define your vision is that what you want to do has to be very clear, concise, in a sort of document which you have with yourself, let's say perhaps a note, but it should be written, because mind keeps playing tricks with you. If you have something in your mind, and every day you will, very conveniently, the mind will make you forget that and get another aspect of it into play. So once you've written it down, then you've made a contract with yourself that I'm going to change it. This is what I'm going to try. And the try part, what you write in that is very, I would say, depends on each entrepreneur and his dreams. I may write something else and you may write something else. It really is dependent on our experiences, where we come from, what we have done, where we see an opportunity, how well we thrash it out, how well we understand the competition, how well we understand the channel. Uh, and that is capability. So that capability and insight has to come together in one document, which has to be sacrosanct. I'm not saying that you may have a 5 to 10% variance, but don't take a U-turn, because if you keep doing those, you keep trying to find shortcuts. I don't think you'll land anywhere.
Okay, I hope all your visions that you've laid out do come to your vision that. Thank you so much, Ujjwal, for talking.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for including me in this conversation. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.